morning. What would a Monday morning be without some technical difficulties?
What's wrong with the picture?
I see. I think David was in the original stream that I had to restart, and David has made it to the new. Welcome, David. Good afternoon, I should say. All right, let's go down the list. Lo is here. Good morning, Lo. There we go. Let's see. Jason Wayne Hobbs' music is here. Good morning. Yeah, it's still morning. It's still morning where you are, I believe. I believe you're at home. Archie, hello all. Sun peeking out and mid 60s. I think we're gonna get close to like 85 here in the Boise Valley today. So welcome, Archie. I am here, so no updates from elsewhere. we're still in a holding pattern. I found out after Thursday night stream that everybody in Utah watched, which I'm glad I didn't know about until afterwards, because I don't think I talked about too much of that Utah stuff going on, but yeah. So no updates on Utah. So we are still here in Boise. At least I am. Wife is in Utah. So yeah. So split efforts going on. So yeah. Hopefully, if you are into sports ball at all, you had a good sports ball weekend. For the most part, I did. Most part, I should say, except for the most important sports ball that went on. And I've not talked to Jason about this. I don't know the answer. We've talked about football, but those blasted Texas Rangers swept my Seattle Mariners over the weekend. I pretty much puts a dagger in their playoff hopes, I believe, because they got 4 more against Texas, and they just can't seem to beat Texas this year. So I'm pretty sure they're not going to be in the playoffs this year. It would kind of take a miracle at this point. I just don't think they've got enough batting to keep up with Texas. Texas doesn't have a lot of pitching, but they have a lot of hitting. So, all right, yeah. So that is that, and it's very disappointing.
How about no?
I wish that wasn't the case, but I'm pretty sure the Mariners are done. So it's the place where batters go to die. They always trade for these hitters that are supposed to be really good, and then they get them and they destroy them somehow or another. So anyway, it's very disappointing. If you're enjoying the chat at any time, please give the video a like. It really helps others discover the joy and wonder of travels with Trizity. I appreciate it as well. That's between the chat and the likes. That's the feedback I get from most of you guys and girls. But let us begin the show, and we'll go. No guest today because of my uncertain schedule. So until that all gets settled, I will probably be foregoing a guest because I really don't know when my phone's going to ring, and I will not be here anymore. So, all right, let us. Thank you, David. Thank you. David says he did like the other stream as well. Yeah. So I had the resolution on 4K because I've been recording a. Here we go. Let's do the announcer voice. The ultimate. I don't know. It's not the announcer voice. The ultimate guide on choosing an airplane seat. That's what I've been working on. Hopefully it's kind of cheesy and fun. Mostly, I think there's some good info in there. Probably stuff a lot of travelers never even thought about. So we shall see how that is received. I've tried to add a little bit of humor and silliness in that video. But let's check the misery map. I don't know how miserable it is. I'm wondering if Seattle might become more miserable throughout the day with this weather rolling through, as well as the Dallas and Houston areas. Chicago just always seems to be miserable. I just, I don't know why Chicago always seems to have some issues. But it does. It just looks kind of, they always have issues. I don't know. Maybe Chicago is just a miserable place. I've only visited there a few times, so I don't know. Maybe the airport is just miserable. Of course, it's O'Hare and Midway, so they don't break it down. They just lump them together, kind of like New York, where you've got the 3 airports. One of them in New Jersey, 91 delays and 1 cancellation. So again, I don't know why. There's nothing that looks super terrible on the radar. At least I don't know. You never know. Computer problems. Maybe Mayor Pete is there. UN week was last week, so maybe a bunch of the diplomats are leaving, and that's causing a bunch of delays. That is a possible explanation. So who knows? I do not know. But let's check the list of delays. 697 cancellations in the United States today. 14,000 worldwide. Wings of Body continues their ascent. Again, Secretary Pete left them high and dry. It's my theory. Airport wise, we've got Jakarta, London, Gatwick. Dallas is pretty high up on the list. Amsterdam. Let's check the dots. Yeah, that looks like a pretty good storm coming into the Seattle area. So when the Mariners play the Astros this evening, I'm sure the roof will be closed. And we've got a lot of, it just looks like rain hitting Dallas. Could be thunderstorms. I watched the NASCAR race yesterday, and it was 101 at the track, which they call Fort Worth, but it seems like it's pretty far north of Fort Worth to me. Chicago, it looks like it's getting better in Chicago. And then we go over to Newark. Looks like the winner over there, departure delays of 31 minutes to 45 minutes. The longest takeoff queue that I've ever been in, I remember coming back from an engineering meeting in New Brunswick and in and out of Newark, and leaving Newark, I think the pilot said that there were, I want to say 21 planes in front of us or something, some absurd number. I mean, we were essentially at the departure end we were at the, I guess the part of the next to the departure runway at the end where the planes are up in the air. And so they had the whole taxiway filled with airplanes. It's crazy. It seemed like it took like an hour to get up in the air. Kind of madness. Scrolling over here, they got London Gatwick is red. 1 hour delays and increasing. That's not good. But that's the only dot over there. And let's go over to Asia. See what Asia's looking like today. Shenzhen. I think that's SSX. Yep, Shenzhen. So we got London Gatwick, Brownsville, Texas. That's down here. Bro is currently experiencing all inbound flights being held at their origin until noon. Wonder what's going on. Hopefully I'm not missing the SpaceX launch in Brownsville. I haven't gotten any notices. Nope, no notices. I do know that the next flight of the Super Heavy, SpaceX's Super Heavy, is coming up. Gosh, I hope that's not today. Well, if it is, then we'll cut over to that if I get a notice on my phone, since I am subscribed to SpaceX and all that good stuff. So, all right, bad storms last night. Yeah, they showed a lot of the clouds over the racetrack yesterday, and it looked like it was building and gonna dump. So Did Mayor Pete cause my computer problems? No, Mayor Pete only fixes problems. He doesn't cause them. Get it right. Or something. He was the mayor of South Bend, Indiana. Don't forget it. Sorry. Alrighty. All right, let's start with the crowdsourced articles first. First up, this was from David. David sent me this last week, and I didn't get to it on Wednesday. Yeah, wild. Is it wild man or wild? Man runs down airport runway toward airplane. And as always, these are headlines that I've gathered in a lot of cases. I have not actually read the articles. Is it TAAG or is it TAG? Angola Airlines Dash 8 shuts down engine due to runway visitor. And they got a video here. I don't know if I can play it.
Eu venho aqui encontrar o nosso avião, pá. Sai! Vai embora! Olha! Não! Eu venho ao pé do nosso...
Guy's trying to Darwin Award himself. Look at that. That is called a death wish, I believe. Guessing not a lot of... I'm guessing the sterile area isn't so sterile in the on the grounds there. Anyway, this incident involves a TAG Angola Airlines Dash 8 that was scheduled to operate the short 196-mile domestic flight. No, I'm still going. Okay, in Angola from Soyo to Luanda. Earlier this week, the plane was operating flight DT-131 and lined up on the runway, getting ready to depart. However, at the same time, the pilots spotted a person running down the runway toward the aircraft. Yeah, this is what not to do. The person kept running toward the aircraft until he got really close to the propellers. At this point, the pilots made the smart decision to shut down the left engine to avoid potential catastrophe. I think we all saw that in Indiana Jones, did we not? This was well timed because the person was within feet of the engines. Once the aircraft's engine was shut down, the person continued to stand there. Eventually, the intruder decided to make a run for it, realizing that there was a security guard chasing after him. There's another one. Minutes after this incident, the crew restarted the engine and the aircraft operated the flight to Luanda without further incident. So it's not the first time. So you got some dude walking under the wing in Nigeria. Classic Twilight Zone episode. The bottom line, TAG Angola Dash 8 had to delay its takeoff because a person came running down the runway. Let's just read the comments. No biggie, that's my buddy Jim. He's just a really big av geek. I'm not going to read the rest of those. All right. Yeah, not good. That's not good. Let's see. Let's go back. Jason says, bad storms last night. It took us an hour and a half to fly from Houston to Dallas due to navigating around storms, usually 40 minutes. I couldn't keep a straight face. No, I could not. Maybe he was trying to tell the pilot about renewing his car insurance. That could be. It could be. It really could be. Excuse me. All right. So don't do that. That's bad. Running down the runway toward a spinning propeller or a jet engine that's spinning is bad. Those are bad things. Don't do that. Suicide by airplane, I guess, maybe is what they're going for. And I had trouble getting the Facebook thing to work. So I ended up doing just a Google search. Got this from Jason. Naked man strolling through DFW taken into custody for mental health evaluation. Here you go. Let's enjoy this. naked dude in the airport. Yeah, there he is, my man. Yeah, that's not good for anybody. Travelers were shocked to see I'm shocked to see a man strolling naked at Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport and caught the bare passenger on camera wandering the busy terminal. So he's in the C concourse. Lovely concourse. I've been there. In a statement to Fox News Digital, Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport said the airport's Department of Public Safety, well, he's unlikely to have a weapon, responded to the nude man walking inside Terminal C at about 10:15 p.m. Monday. In the video, the adult man is seen sauntering through the airport by a restaurant. There's a naked guy in the airport, a man is heard saying in the video. Upon hearing the videographer's comments, the man in the nude points at him, prompting the videographer to cheer. Yes, there is. The videographer continues, my man. Authorities say they arrested the man and took him into custody for a mental health evaluation. Police did not share if the unclothed man was charged. Why do I think that if this was in, say, I don't know, San Francisco, that they would be like, dude, way to go, or something. Archie says, it's the Fetterman effect. Yeah, isn't it nice that we just keep lowering the bar to accommodate people who are, what do I want to say about Fetterman? He doesn't appear to be in his right mind. I think Mr. Senator Fetterman, he needs a mental health evaluation, along with a lot of members of our current Congress. When you stare at the camera and you just kind of lock up, that's not a good sign. That doesn't bode well for your mental state. All right. Jason says, if people were required to fly nude, there would be no need for security. Well, not too much.
How about no?
I'm going to pass on that. But they still have their carry-on bag. And, of course, I'm going to pre-thank David.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. What would I do without you? David says, oh, he has a weapon, just floppy. I need like a rim shot. Let's see.
How dare you?
That's a good one.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, okay. Moving on. This is turning into a similar repeat to the driveway with mud on it discussion we had a couple weeks back. All right, let's move on to some real kind of bad stuff. 2 JetBlue flights hit by laser strikes near Logan Airport in Boston. This is a really, really bad thing. If you're on the plane, because I don't know, and maybe Jason knows, but I believe there's some sort of coating on the aircraft, the front windows, the pilot's cockpit windows, and when the laser hits it, it even disperses the laser light even worse. And I don't think anybody on the airplane, at least, wants the pilot to be blinded. So that's a really, really bad thing, and I hope they find the people doing this. Someone shined a laser at 2 planes near Logan Airport early Thursday morning, according to the FAA. The FAA. You ask for a miracle, and I give you the FAA. No, that's not the line. Told WBZ-TV the crews of JetBlue flights 494 and 972 reported being illuminated by a green laser around 5:40 a.m. I didn't think bad people were up that early in the morning. No one was hurt. The FAA is trying to find out who was responsible. Aiming a laser at an aircraft is a serious safety hazard that puts everyone on the plane and on the ground below at risk. It's also a violation of federal law. On Thursday night, the crew of a helicopter landing at Boston Hospital also reported being struck by a laser. Yeah, it's bad. Anyone caught shining a laser at a plane faces fines of up to $11,000 for each violation and up to $30,800 for multiple incidents. In 2022, pilots reported 9,500 laser strikes to the FAA. There's a whole bunch of, I tried to find a good video on YouTube about what this actually looks like. There's a really brief bit here at the beginning. I don't really care about the Golo ad, but I think they show a brief flash. So we got a couple commercials. Commercials. I don't want to show all these commercials. Anyway, I think to replay, I probably could just reload. Would that work? No. Now I get another ad. Oh God, hers, hims. Anyway, it's not good. There's a bunch of videos on YouTube about what it looks like. You can kind of see it. It's hard to do. I don't know why anybody would really try, but if you do hit the cockpit windows, it's really, really bad for the pilot. And again, if you're on the airplane, obviously you don't want the pilot to have any issues. Because if you're at that point of the flight, you're probably, oh, there we go. Well, see, that's not, yeah. That's not the best example. I saw a video, a couple years back, and it hit the windows, and the entire cockpit was illuminated green. So, yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. So I hope they catch the perpetrator. We'll see if they do. And in the ongoing saga of Delta Hates You, yeah, Delta hates you. At least that's how I'm interpreting it these days. Saw this. A lifeline for Delta frequent flyers. Alaska Airlines offer one level higher than current status. I might have to look into this a little bit more. Let's check the chat before we read the article. Some of these new torches are very bright, but that looks like a laser. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll check on that. Flying drones is another problem at airports. Gatwick had that happen a couple years ago. Yeah, I remember that. And I totally get it. I totally get it. As an aviation enthusiast, av geek, someone with a passion for aviation and all that stuff. One of the coolest videos I ever saw, and I know it was 100% illegal, was an Emirates A380 departing, I don't know, Dublin or something. And the drone was essentially in the flight path, and then it moved to the side and let the A380 go past. Amazing video. Super dangerous. You can debate how big's the drone, what's it hit, and all that stuff. But worst case, very, very dangerous. Best case, dents the airplane. Anyway, it shouldn't be done anywhere near an operating aircraft. I know the publicity fights that a lot of the airlines do, they plan for all that, and that's a controlled flight. There's no passengers and all that stuff. So, but as an aviation geek, that video was absolutely amazing. It was spectacular. So I get the temptation, but it's bad. Anyway. All right. Alaska Airlines offer one level higher than current status after Delta Airlines announced that it hated its passenger. No, I hated its stat. No, that's editorial. See, that's what a lot of news is these days. After Delta Airlines announced it was going all Kaiser Soze. That's a good one. Oh, that's a really good movie, by the way. On its elite frequent flyers and acting like the master manipulator who leaves no loose ends, even if it means betraying those who trust him, there's a clear opening for competing airlines. Delta is taking away unlimited club access from a majority of customers who pay for the airline's premium co-brand lounge access credit card. And they're making it much harder than before to earn status without a qualifying dollars target. With a qualifying dollars target of $35,000 for diamond status. Delta's best customers are some of the airlines industry's most prized customers, and Delta's best customers with their premium $550 annual free credit card are even taking it on the chin. Alaska Airlines is the first into the fray, offering them a lifeline. And you may think that it's too niche, except perhaps in Seattle, where both airlines have a hub. But Alaska Airlines is a member of the One World Alliance and has global partnerships outside that alliance, and has a deeper partnership with American Airlines. That means getting treated as an equivalent tier double A advantage elite when flying that airline. What's amazing is that Alaska is offering to match status for all of next year, and they're offering to match not just equivalent status, but one level higher than current status. They dangle this carrot as encouragement for matched Delta Elite customers to take the Alaska Airlines credit card. Brilliant! Alaska First Class. It's very lovely. We've always believed that loyalty is about more than just revenue, and that earning elite status shouldn't require a second mortgage. We've designed mileage plan to reward loyalty in its many forms, which is why we offer guests the fastest track to elite status with no spend requirements. You'll get a better match if you've already qualified for next year's status than if your status ends with the end of this year. Either way, you do better if you get the Alaska card by the end of 23. So I am currently a silver. I'm currently not an Alaska Airlines Visa card holder. I'd have to get that. So I could be an MVP through 2024. If the combination of Alaska Airlines and American Airlines works for you, and you've already earned 2024 Delta Diamond, get this match and you get the Alaska card, and you'll be given Alaska Airlines 100K status through end of 2024. No challenge or other activity required. Amazing. Delta Diamonds should do this. There's never been a more generous offer. The only caveat is that they won't let you do a status match again later, or do this if you've had one before. Alaska's miles are generally worth more than competitor miles and a lot more than Sky Miles. MVP Gold 75 and 100K are both One World Emerald, which gets you into the international first class lounges of partners like Cathay Pacific, Japan Airlines, and Qantas, regardless of class of service flown. And Alaska Airlines can often match Delta both with friendly service and reliability. American, United, and JetBlue should be jumping on the opportunity to attract disaffected SkyMiles members right now, as they're unhappy with what's being done to them in Atlanta. Yes, I am unhappy with what's being done to me in Atlanta. Biggest risk of that Emirates incident would be the engine strike. Correct. That would be bad. That would be bad. Okay. Jetpack Man and LAX. I had forgotten about Jetpack Man. At least with Jetpack Man, the number of suspects would be incredibly small and easier to trace, and it would be a self-solving problem because, yeah. David has sent me an email regarding the Delta Rewards program. Let me go over to my email off stream. Delta's plan for Sky Miles is already backfiring, but they won't admit it. Yeah. I think I'm gonna wait. Until Wednesday for that. I've got quite the queue. Well, maybe. It's on the same site. Right there. Let's take a look. Delta Airlines has angered its best customers, blah, 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 taking away benefits. Yeah, we've talked about this. We've seen a backlash, and card members are saying they're walking away from the airline. Though those who are hub captive will likely continue to fly. Atlanta and Salt Lake passengers won't defect to another carrier. Some people are canceling cards. But even if the changes were a huge mistake, Delta won't admit it, and they aren't likely to reverse course, just make tweaks at the margin. Yeah, I never had a SkyMiles card. Delta is betting that its changes will increase card spend. Okay. That means card members who don't cancel or shift spend away will need to grow their spend enough to make up for the losses and grow spend. The benefits of status that are supposed to drive spend come only with the most expensive cards, not their mass consumer cards. That means either a huge number of card members need to upgrade, or it's a small portion of the card member base that needs to drive the increase and offset losses from the bigger pool of cards. I don't think this is going to work out for Delta. It's only elite customers with premium co-brand cards that these changes are designed to push more spend from. That's a subset of a subset. The article continues, we won't see the full negative effects of these changes for over a year. Delta will declare victory and run promos. There's no reason Delta will need to admit error, and they're unlikely to do so even if it becomes clear to them that they've made an error. Delta is going to say that the changes are having the desired effect. Yeah, I am not hub locked. My local airport is not a hub for any particular airline. We have United, Southwest, Allegiant, if you want to go there, Avelo, Spirit, Delta, Alaska, and American. And with when I travel, I have to basically jump on a commuter and go to one of those airlines hubs. So this Alaska thing is very tempting. Yeah, it's very tempting. Very, very, very tempting to look into that a little bit more. Okay. Jason asked, I was wondering how we all felt about this move of Delta. It seems counterproductive. I think I kind of hinted at my feelings. This feels like, it feels like Delta doesn't want anybody other than a diamond to participate in their frequent flyer program and or have lounge access. I think they're trying to get back to the ultra exclusive experience, and I think in the long run, one of the reasons that they became popular, I think, with a lot of travelers is that they gave a lot of access. They gave too much access to too many people, in my opinion. And then the Uber elites, those people that get the Porsche from plane to plane on the tarmac, started complaining, and they reacted, and I think they've shot themselves in the foot, frankly. I think this is a really bad move, and if American does not do something like this, because the high end credit card that they talk about here that a lot of Delta elites have, I have with American. I have the American Airlines version. That's why I don't have the Delta version, because I didn't really want to spend that much money on two credit cards. So as long as American doesn't do this, I'm much more likely to fly more often with American and Alaska. I'm contemplating a trip that uses up most of my SkyMiles, because I don't see the value in retaining my SkyMiles membership, because I am not a diamond. I'm not even a gold. I'm a silver. I've been a gold a couple times over my career, but yeah, I mean, they basically made it untenable to me to keep my lounge access, so I dropped that already. And frankly, I'm about at the point to just drop the whole airline. It doesn't really, it doesn't really seem to be paying me much to keep that status. So, David comments, relying on others, increasing their spend is not going to work. Just the Disney park attendance is way down and they are in trouble now. Well, Disney park attendance is not just because of the price of going to Disney, that the price of Disney is the price to get in the park is one factor. There are other factors at play, in my opinion, that is causing Disney's park attendance to go down. I'm not going to talk about that, but that's my personal opinion. I don't have data about that. I will not be surprised if Disney declares bankruptcy in the next year. I think Disney Plus is about to go under because their shows are terrible. Turns out a meritocracy in the entertainment industry is a good thing. And the current way of doing things in Hollywood is bad. I actually have a story about Hollywood coming up. Let's see. David adds, Delta needs to open much more accessible lounges for the peasants. And they can limit access to elite lounges. Yeah, I think American has American and One World. I think they have like elite lounges, and then they have the regular lounges. I don't begrudge the people who get into the first class lounge. I agree that they have earned that right, that privilege. I like any lounge access is lovely. So Delta does not seem to be doing that, and they seem to be, again, I really don't think they've thought this through. Maybe again, my meritocracy comment comes into play here. The person making this decision at Delta and presenting it to the CEO, maybe they're not a peasant, and so they don't understand how peasants would react, I guess. Lowe says Delta's frequent flyer program has a downward trend away from caring about its members for many years. Yeah, I agree. And she agrees with me about Disney. Their flights, fight with Florida being a good example. Yeah, fighting with local government is bad. But again, in my opinion, Disney and Delta, frankly, their problems go deeper than that. I think there is a very clear segment of our population. Let me say this differently. There's two very clear segments of population in the United States. Half believe one thing, the other half believe the other thing, and Disney is going, and it may be more than half. Disney, in my opinion, alienated half of that demographic, and that half of the demographic is not going to Disney, is not watching Disney, is not doing anything with Disney, or Target or Bud Light. And so those things are having an effect, and whether you agree with it or not, I think that is, if you don't believe that to be true, I think you're in denial about what's going on. I think there's a large segment that is voting with their dollars. So that's my opinion. David says Amex lounges are exclusive to card members, and they have even more exclusive lounges for Black and Centurion card holders. Yeah, I had an invite for a Black card the other day. That would have been. I should have done that, but I'm credit carded out. I don't really want another credit card at this point. Archie says the inmates are running the asylum. Sooner or later, some of these big businesses are going to go bankrupt. And I think, what is it? What did I see? CVS or Rite? No, it's Rite Aid. Rite Aid declared bankruptcy. And it's going to close a huge number of its stores. I don't know if that's related. I don't really know much about Rite Aid. I do know that they have closed a ton of stores in places that allow theft up to $999.99. We're not going to prosecute you because you stole less than $1,000. There are a lot of places like that, and I know a lot of stores in those places are closing. So it's very sad. Moving on from the culture war. One last thing from David. There's a big element of the economy in trouble. Disney Plus might have to go woke. Might have go woke, go broke issues. Could be. It very well could be. Their shows have not. I mean, the few that I've watched, I have not enjoyed them. So I have Hulu with the bundle because I have ESPN Plus. My college football team plays on ESPN Plus. Pretty soon my Anaheim Ducks will be on Disney Plus or on ESPN Plus. So I have Disney Plus. I've never even opened it to watch anything because there's nothing appealing on there that looks good. It's a lot of superhero stuff and bad Star Wars. They killed Star Wars. I have not liked their new Star Wars efforts. Let's see. Rite Aid have gone bust before, and we're in chapter 11. Yep. Jason says downtown San Francisco is a ghost town. Yeah, I visited when I was back in my corporate days. I visited San Francisco pretty regularly for meetings with I was on several national committees. And the chairman of one of the committees happened to be working in San Francisco. So I've spent a lot of time in downtown San Francisco. If you've ever seen the Mel Brooks movie High Anxiety, there's the Hyatt that's downtown, right across from the ferry terminal, I believe. But the High Anxiety Hotel, I've stayed in that hotel, love it. Had a balcony room multiple times. Loved it down there, loved downtown, and I don't think I would like it now. David says San Francisco is in trouble. The main business district is empty. Lots of banks and developers in trouble. Yes, but they have a great ESG score. What's such a beautiful city? Not anymore. Yeah, I don't really want to go back. Not anytime soon. So, all right. I'm going to move on. I saw this and I found it disturbing. The FAA grants temporary lightning protection exemption for the Boeing 737 MAX 7, which I don't think has been delivered to anybody yet. But with all of the MAX issues, why would you ask for an exemption at this point on any sort of protection related to the aircraft? That's why I'm bringing the article up. This may happen all the time. I don't really know, but the FAA has granted Boeing's petition to temporarily exempt the MAX 7 from lightning protection rules. According to the FAA's document, Boeing filed a petition on June 29th, so a while back. The exemption, if granted, would allow time to incorporate system updates and certify the stall management yaw damper on the 737 MAX 7 until March 1st, 2027. Boeing specifically requested exemptions from two CFR regulations, namely that each electrical and electronics system design, the failure of which would prevent the safe operation of the aircraft, must not be affected by a lightning strike and or be able to restore normal functioning following exposure to lightning. Boeing states that granting the exemption would allow the use of the part number, blah, 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 on the Model 737 airplane until necessary changes are made as part of the Model 737-10 amended type, blah, 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 a lot of blah, blah here. Yeah, does that seem like a good idea to anybody else? With everything going on with the Mac, I mean, I think there's still lawsuits. You can't crash a couple of a new aircraft type, and I just think this is a bad idea. I think it's a really, really bad idea. The Max 7, I question the Max 7. I don't know who ordered the Max 7. I'm guessing Southwest Airlines. The Max 7, I guess, more or less replaces the Dash 7 that Southwest has tons of. So I'm assuming that they're probably the main order of the 7. We have lots of 7s that come into Boise here. Yeah, I just think this is a bad idea. Excuse me. So Max 7s will have to give the storms a wide berth. Planes get hit regularly. Yeah. And it's interesting because an aircraft is old aircraft are what's called a Faraday cage, and when a lightning bolt strikes it, it just goes around the outside and comes out the bottom. Typically, it doesn't necessarily do any damage when they get struck. I think they get checked out regardless if they've had a strike. But in this new era with lots of composites in there, like the 787, which is a carbon fiber fuselage, I believe they've woven in a copper mesh to provide the Faraday effect. I am very green, but ESG is a scam. Tell that to Bud Light. I think. So Max 7s will have to give this planes a wide plan. Seems like a stupid move on Boeing's part and an idiotic approval by the FAA. What happened to safety first? Yeah, I believe that is a platitude that companies spout. I really think it's money first, honestly. So this safety program, I'm not saying this happened at my former company, but this safety program that you want to roll out, how much is it going to cost? I'll bet that's part of the discussion at every company in the world that has some sort of safety program. But how much is it going to cost? Not that it's the best idea. How much is that safety program going to cost? And I understand that, but the fact that that's the first question that's asked about a safety program always bothered me. David asks if the Max 10 is even certified yet. I don't believe it is certified. I think it's still waiting. I think it's still waiting on approval. 777X is still flight testing. FAA acting like a regulatory capture. Yeah, I think a lot of the problems at the early Max crashes were a result of the FAA taking Boeing's word on a lot of things and granting approval based on Boeing's analysis rather than their own. Yeah, Jason says cost is always the first question, I believe. Yeah, I that always bothered me. I think the first question is how many injuries, how many deaths is this going to prevent? And cost should be further down that list somewhere, in my opinion. That's how my former corporate company was when I started. And as the years went by and I was there longer and longer, it became more and more obvious that all of those other things, the family atmosphere that I like to think that my company had, it was very family oriented at the beginning. You know, Christmas parties, bring your family. Summer picnics, bring your family, all that stuff. And slowly those things got canceled over the years because they cost too much. And that's just a simple example of you know, when lawyers and bean counters start taking over companies, it becomes more of a bottom line company and the people part of that. People are our most valuable asset. How many companies that you are aware of have said that to their employees? Well, the actions of the company don't always match that. So while cost is a relevant issue, the lack of protection will mean even higher settlements because of it. Ultimately, no cost benefits, they get taken in settlements. Yeah. It's just sad. Sad. Now I saw this, the U.S. Sun. I believe the Sun is a UK paper there, David. Pay up. Delta Airlines adds automatic health surcharge, and customers will need to look closely at their bill breakdown. I've not heard of it. So again, I have not read the article. I saw the headline. I'm like, what? Through the years, airlines have tacked on all sorts of fees like baggage surcharges and safety fees and more. Lots of big pictures of Deltas. Delta. Those are in Atlanta. That's the same photo. That's Atlanta. I've been there. Recognize the view. Delta, as well as most other airlines, has another fee called the U.S. Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service Fee. The Animal Plant Health Inspection Fee regulates genetically engineered organisms, administers the Animal Welfare Act, and manages wildlife damage per the government agency. The airline industry must comply with the regulations in order to transport pets internationally. While airlines may set their fee at certain prices, the Delta surcharge for this is $3.96. Now, this is not at all what I thought it was. It's a pet charge. Avoiding the charge may be difficult depending on blah blah blah. It's $3. Okay, here's the other. Bags must be under 50 pounds, as every overweight bag will cost up to $200. Yep. Company charges $40 for a second check bag and $150 for a third. Only in economy. Any bag after that will be automatically $200 extra. Most airlines also tack on another fee called the September 11th fee. Delta and American tax on $560 per passenger. Blah 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 blah. Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's a whole junk article. Sorry I brought this article up because it looked like, oh boy, they're adding a new fee, and then it's not really a fee. Mm-hmm. The Sun is a Murdoch paper, so junk for decades. Yeah, that article is junk. Sorry about that. I apologize.
Be excellent to each other.
Might have to do a little bit more. Might have to do a little bit more perusing before I pull an article up next time. Jason says he agrees with David. No cost benefits, they get taken in settlements. Jason says, agree, David, but as you are well aware, they're rolling the dice that nothing will happen. Yep, simple gambling. And low ads today. It seems like they're trying to cancel families. And then we're back to the Sun is a Murdoch paper, so junk for decades. Junk. It's junk. It's junk. Let's get to a fun article. Maybe fun. I love the headline. Maybe this is a palate cleanser of sorts. New Zealand couple angered by farting dog on 13-hour flight receives $1,400. Farting dog. I got cold coffee now. Let me finish it up real quick. Oh, and I didn't bring my bottle. I don't have my bottle today. I have I forgot to wash it. My expandable bottle. I did some glamour shots of the bottle in my brand new light box. At some point, I'm going to have some sort of an online store with featuring travel items, and the bottles will be in there, so the glamour shots will be used there. But I just have a regular old water glass today. Not selling these. This is not a membership perk. Oh, delay, lag.
Inconceivable.
There it comes. Jeez, a lot of lag. All these, my computer has every time that a Windows update is pushed to my computer, it seems like it's getting slower. It's like 2 months old now. It started off super fast. It's not so super fast anymore. It's very disappointing. Still fast. A New Zealand couple who moved seats after complaining about sitting next to a farting dog on a 13-hour flight has been given more than $1,400. Gil and Warren Press were traveling home on a Singapore Airlines flight from Paris back in June when they were sitting next to a smelly dog, according to New Zealand news outlet Stuff. Mrs. Press had overheard the dog's owner telling another passenger he becomes nervous on planes and needs the pet by his side. Ah, yes. We need that therapy pot-bellied pig. I think David and I have talked about that. The couple, surprised that they were sitting next to a passenger with a dog, asked a flight attendant to see if the airline could do anything about it, Insider reported. The couple also reportedly complained that the dog was occupying Mr. Press's legroom because it had to be kept out of the aisle. Beautiful airplane, by the way. Love the A350. The flight attendant informed the couple that the only open seats were in the back of the economy part of the aircraft. But since the couple had paid for premium economy seats, which are lovely, by the way, I love them, for the 13-hour flight, they initially declined the offer and remained in their premium seats. However, the dog started to fight later on the flight, and the couple eventually flagged down the flight attendant, who allowed them to move to the back of the plane. The couple told Insider they reached out to the airline after the incident with the smelly dog. The airline originally issued an apology and two $73 gift vouchers. Singapore dollars, Australian dollars, US dollars. Which the couple believed was inadequate because they had to switch seats from premium economy to economy. Oh, this is a good way. Frontier Airlines CEO says workforce got lazy during the pandemic. Oh, that's... The airline then offered a travel voucher of $200 per person, which the couple said was still not acceptable and demanded a full refund for the flight. The two sides were in communication about the incident for a few months before the airline gave in and offered to refund the difference in the seats. The couple received $1,410 from Singapore Airlines for the troubles. According to Insider, the couple said they plan to donate the money to an organization that helps match vision-impaired people with service dogs. Oh, how nice. Those are nice people. They're nice, except pet the dog. Just pet the pup. David adds, farting dog, first sign of the apocalypse.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Oh, how about this one?
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Maybe you can get $1,400 from Delta for the bad BO flight. Yeah, I doubt it. They won't even get. They don't even have lounge passes anymore. They wouldn't even give me that. I don't think. I didn't complain though. There was the I don't know if you saw in the video when I'm complaining about it and wrinkling my face. There's a dude. Actually, I might have blurred him out, but there was an old dude back there on oxygen. So I'm guessing the bro behind was the source. So so Singapore Airlines trying the breeze treatment. Vouchers, yeah. The breeze treatment. Farting breeze? Breeze farting?
These pipes are clean.
Said the dog. Dog had clean pipes. Yeah. BO. Right. last story of the day, at least last one that I have curated, cultivated. And my question for the viewership, did you even know that the writers were on strike? Have you noticed a significant downturn in quality of your entertainment programming? Is all of the one thing I never did hear if production just moved to the UK or other parts of the world that were not on strike, that were not part of the Writers Guild of America. I as I said earlier in the stream, I found that most programming is really kind of crappy anyway, and it's largely unscripted type TV shows these days because they're super cheap and lowest common denominator, and a lot of people watch them. Don't get me wrong, I have watched Survivor over the years and enjoyed it. I think Survivor's new season starts this week if you're interested. But the article says Hollywood scribes initiated a work stoppage in early May as negotiations broke down with studios including Disney, Paramount, Universal, and Warner Brothers Discovery. Talks between the Writers Guild and the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers resumed last week after months of starts and stops. They're drafting their final contract language. My understanding is that a lot of this had to do with the producers not wanting to pay writers because there are AI tools available that can do as good or better of a job than a lot of the writers today. And I frankly, I think if that's true, that is the producer's fault for not hiring on merit or thinking they're hiring on merit or something, and hiring crappy writing. That Abomination, Amazon Rings of Power, that was a horribly written show. Horrible writing on that show. And it should have been a layup because there's so much source material that Tolkien has available. Horrible show. Yeah. They did Galadriel dirty on that. Anyway, they have a preliminary agreement. Great. Yay. We have what we have won in this contract, most particularly everything we have gained since May 2nd, is due to the willingness of this membership to exercise its power, to demonstrate its solidarity, to walk side by side, to endure the pain and uncertainty of the past 146 days. The committee is the leverage generated by your strike in concert with the extraordinary support of our union siblings that finally brought the companies back to the table to make the deal. Last I checked, producers are typically very wealthy and writers are typically not very wealthy. So I'm curious to see what sort of agreement they actually came up with. The WJ did not discuss what provisions ultimately made it into the preliminary contract, but told union members that this deal is exceptional. That's what management would say, with meaningful gains and protections for writers in every sector of the membership. So I am dying to find out what is actually in the contract, because again, typically producers probably don't need to have the writers necessarily. I think the writers need the work more than the producers do. I think producers are greedy, so they want to make money, but at the end of the day, they could probably have kept going even longer if they would have wanted to. So I'd be surprised if the writers didn't give up more than they really wanted to. So we'll see. Jason says, I only knew about it because I saw them picketing when I was on a layover at Burbank. Yeah, I don't think most people even knew. There was a big hubbub when they went on strike, and then everybody kept watching their shows. Nobody. Okay. Les says, I had a good point on hiring. I used to hire people, and I always looked for qualifications first. I had a really difficult, my people did a very difficult job and I needed the best people for that. So their ability was always the most important factor. If people in my department didn't do their job, the lights went off, and then everybody knows about it. So that's bad. Issues over health insurance and payments for repeats. Archie says, funny, the writer's statement was written by a lawyer. They want to pay the same as YouTube. That would be a big cut for writers. Residuals are such a valid and important issues. Yeah. Drew Barrymore. Yeah. Drew Barrymore got in trouble. Maybe, maybe she needed the money. I don't know.
This could be a cultural misunderstanding.
All right. That is that, as they say. If you all have other articles that you've crowdsourced for me, feel free to send them. I appreciate all the efforts. I am quite busy with day-to-day things and stuff. So if you want to send those in, I appreciate it. I will do my best to curate a show. Barring a tragic update, we will be having show on Wednesday night. So again, probably no guest because I can't guarantee that I will be available, let alone having a guest. So if you have any last questions, comments, this Friday's video will be what I'm currently calling the ultimate guide to picking the ultimate guide to picking the perfect airplane seat, or something like that. Yep. So Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, unless something undesirable happens between now and then. So that's all I got to say about that. And we will, I think I'm going to sign off there. Jason says, love the hat. This lovely chapeau. I found it in one of my storage boxes. I got this. This is very old now. I got this in 2012. It's almost 10 years old, in Paris. Because I went to Paris without a hat. And what you can't see is all the thinness up here, where it's almost bare now. It's so sad. I used to have thick hair and it was so sad. Anyway, so I needed something so I didn't get sunburn. And our little, we stayed in an apartment hotel kind of thing. There was a near the opera, and there was a little multi-story shopping center next door, and looked for a hat, and it's a Stetson. If you can see that, it's a Stetson, but it's anyway. So yeah, I've had this for a long time. It's been through the wash a couple times. Managed to reform the brim nicely, but yeah, it's lovely. It's one of my favorites. Very, very nostalgic. Anyway, I don't have a lot of souvenirs from a lot of my international trips. I don't really, I have a London hat, like a ball cap, because I did the same thing. I went without a hat, which was unwise. Dave says, embrace the baldness, though applying sunscreen can be difficult. I do spray a lot, and then I slick it back, and I look super cool or something. So it is what it is. It's sad. It's been happening for 30 years, and yeah, it's finally had tragedy stays, which is really sad, because I used to golf a lot, and I loved to wear a visor, but a visor just kind of enhances the burn on the top of your head. So I gave up wearing a visor just years and years and years ago. Very, very sad. Very sad. All right. So we got some likes, and we got lots of comments. I appreciate everybody being here today. Give yourself a round of applause. I need to wrap up completing this week's video. So I think in the future I might start posting videos on Wednesdays for members, and then like a week later for everybody else. So I might move to the members, get a preview. So Jason, thank you for your contributions. Appreciate you. Appreciate the photos. If you haven't seen Jason's Instagram, let me make sure I get it correctly. That picture you posted of the view out the cockpit the other day was fantastic. So envious. I'm assuming the pilot was on his potty break. Let me see if I can find it. I believe it's J.W. Hobbs. Maybe you can throw it in here while I'm looking for it. I'm looking for my likes. It's always the case when I want to look for, when I want to find something, I can never find it. I haven't looked at Instagram today, so I got just a craptastic in there. Craptastic amount of videos. Dogs. Lots of dogs. Yes, dogs. Yes, dogs. And airplanes. Just kind of can't find any. Yeah, lots of planes require someone else in the cockpit, and many times it's a flight attendant. Yep, that's pretty typical here in the U.S. I think that happened after the Air Berlin or something, where one of the pilots left and the other one flew it into the ground. Flew it into a mountain, and they could not get through the cockpit, which is what it's, you're not supposed to get through the cockpit. Anyway, find Jason. There we go. Thank you. I couldn't find it. JW Hobbs 4 on Instagram. Go find Jason's Instagram. You won't be disappointed. Lots of good behind the scenes photos. But yeah, that picture out the cockpit window, so jealous. I've shared before on stream a memory I have of standing in the cockpit door. I think it was on the 747 with my mom. Took me up to the second deck, opened the cockpit, talked to the pilots. They gave me the little wings. Couldn't see anything because we were flying towards Seattle. I think probably. I don't know. Who knows? But it looked like that. Like if you've heard people the white light, the portal to heaven and thing, it always looked like that. So let's see. Actually, the U.S. had it before that. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Jason continues to educate me on airplane stuff. So a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. So I need to get on a flight that Jason's working, and that would be amazing. But as we've discussed, everything's kind of up in the air right now, so I don't know when any of that's happening. I'm still waiting for my proctoring test information for my travel agent test. I'm still waiting for that too. So anyway, all right.
When I return, I shall be a cabin man.
All right. That's all I got today. It is time. I think it's time for lunch for me. Anyway. Any last chats? Any last questions? Going once? Going twice. I'll see you Wednesday evening. Happy travels if you're flying. Happy Monday if you're not. Have a great day, everyone. And I will see you on Wednesday.
Thank you. Thank you very much.